All right, welcome back to Just Enough Garage. Today we're back on the Oldsmobile. We're done with Saturns. I got four fabrication projects to do on this to put the front end together. So let's get going. Okay, as you saw in the opener, in a few minutes Johnny's going to help me lift this front end off. But I got the tarp still over it because and it's full of water. Oh, bummer. Okay. So what I got going on here, you know what? Maybe I should just wait till Johnny's here to help me. I need to mount the alternator somewhere in the center. Last week off camera, yeah, Saturn. Okay. I goofed around with this trying to get set up for what I wanted. And basically the problem is right here we have interference where the alternator is going to contact this, and I can't, when you look at the outside, I'm not going to cut it or nothing stupid, so I'm having to redesign it. Now if I could use this standard GM alternator bracket on this side, I would, but my water pump isn't set up for that. This intake manifold's not set up for that. I do have a setup where I can put a longer water pump on this, and I have all the pulleys to do that, but then it's going to interfere with the radiator clearance because the longer water pump comes forward about 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to try doing some custom work today. I have this alternator bracket off of something else. We're going to fabricate a plate that'll bolt to the head. This will then make a flat spot like this. This will then be welded to that. We'll align it before welding, and the alternator will run up here, kind of like the flathead. Let me show you the flathead. Kind of like this style, like that. Now, for you guys who are really quick, you've already identified, well, Darian, that's not going to run your water pump. True, because currently this pulley runs this power steering. Currently, this one back here runs that and ran the alternator. So this pulley I'm going to actually remove some material from, move it forward so it aligns with these two. I have another power steering unit. This is getting out of hand. I'll just be honest with you. This is getting out of hand. I have another power steering unit with the two grooves. So when it's all said and done, this is what I'm hoping to have happen. Or I'm going to destroy the parts, or it's going to work. These two pulleys will then align with these two pulleys, which then I'll change the pump and align with those two pulleys over here. Then there'll be a gap between here that'll facilitate the belt to go up to the alternator and back down, and I'll have the adjustment right here to cock it. I'm going to have it a little bit off-centered, but it shouldn't run the water pump. So that's my plan. That's one of my plans. My second plan involves over here on the table this bunch of random scrap. I got some more brass fittings for plugs, but this random bunch of scrap, this is not the clutch fork from the car, but is one very similar, but it was modified years ago. Somebody cut that off for whatever application. I want to extend it, so I've made a deal where this will bolt together, and then I will figure out where to drill my hole, round that end off. And then my clutch should go to working because it'll just be a rod, which I already have. That seems pretty simple. So I've got two major fabrications here on the front end of this, the clutch, and then I've got these little cutoffs, triangle deals underneath where we did the bracketry last video for the 4-speed mount. I'm just going to do some reinforcing on there and weld that so that I don't have any. And then I don't think we'll get to it this time. It's just the weather, my time schedule. Then I've got to do something with all this where it was cut out in here. So I'm going to have to get some plate and do that. Make that square, strong, true. There's my arm down there on the clutch, you can see, and then there's the rod. So it should be a pretty relatively simple thing. Then we would be ready to do the brakes and stuff. It's a big project. Bear with me. For those of you who are bearing with me, I appreciate it. Last week's video with the Saturn didn't do very well. I knew it wouldn't. This does a little bit better. I'm a small guy doing a big job. I watched a video the other day. It was really cool. This guy did a whole car in 30 minutes. It took him 1 year and 30 minutes to do the car. I don't do operation like that. I'm going to show you each little piece that I do to go through these, which easily I could skip and just say the belts are on, but I'd like to show people. I think there's an interest in that. It's not a huge interest, but anyways, we'll get going on it. I'll get Johnny to help me lift off the front, and I'll show you step by step how to modify the GM parts to work in your in your car. The problem is that this thing really narrows up in the front. It really narrows up, and that is, these had originally a straight 8. The V8 has put it out. I don't think you could even run a big block in there without some clearance problems. So we're gonna do this. Anyways, I'll get going on it. Johnny just came out. I tried to move this on my own, and I just tipped it like this, but check it out, John, now that I tipped it up. We got repairs to do. That was the side you're always hitting hang up on.
No, I'm getting hang up with this.
We gotta straighten it out. Anyways, I was able to straighten this while I had it out. It shook some dirt out here. So this is what the problem is, right? Because that narrows in, I showed in the beginning, it's just clearing here. And obviously I'm gonna shape that, cut that. This is my plan. And then I've got this piece of plate, which we're gonna put on top of here. And obviously we're gonna shape it, it's oversized. Then that piece, I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna grind this off flat. And then that will become part of that. And we'll move this wherever we want. You know, we'll get this moved wherever we want. And then we'll tack it all together. Then that's unboltable. This will be welded together. We'll, like I say, there's quite a bit of work to do. This mount was something I had in the shop. This isn't the original one that was on there. Now that's gonna do a couple of things for me. A, I'm gonna miss my valve cover, and it's gonna be up here. We have gone in the shop and I found this old clunky lunky. It will go here. Obviously we'll get rid of that and put a plug. But then the hose, in theory, because the radiator's that tall right behind you, in theory I should be able to have a hose that would go just like that. Whether it's a flexi hose, a straight hose, whatever. So now that you're over here, John, come and take a look. Drop the tools. I feel like I'm constantly stepping on the work I'm doing, and it's frustrating me. And I need to have like a reset and like take my garage, get a big dumpster, and throw away all my vintage parts so I have room. And then I could be able to do YouTube videos with oh wait, I wouldn't have vintage parts. Okay. Anyway, so I went through all my pulleys, and we're back to this original one. And if you remember, this was on the goat pin Chevy, and that one lines up, and that one operated the alternator originally in there, and then this outer one did that. So now John had a good idea. We're gonna move this one out to here. How are we gonna accomplish that? Well, I have another water pump. We're gonna put it in the vise, so we have a turntable bolted on, and we're gonna cut right on that edge there, and then we're gonna cut right back here where this starts to come in, and we're gonna move this, essentially shorten this pulley. So this will still be in the same flat here bolted, but that will come forward. If we do it right, we can get this into here. If we do it wrong, well then I guess we throw it all away and just put the long water pump stuff on. And
well, don't you have another one of those?
Well, that's the problem, John. Come take a look at the other one of those. I do have another one of those, but this one had been,
oh, it's quality.
This is the one that came on the engine, and then when we had that motor, I was like, oh good, I have spare parts. But this does leave me an opportunity here to mix and match. You know, maybe I need to cut one here and overlay it there. I'm not sure. I have to use my brains and some measurement. When I measured it the other day, it was like just under an inch at like 900 thousandths to get us aligned. But this pulley's no good. Could I find another one of these? Probably. But anyways, if you're eyeballing the end, what's going to do is that's going to put that out there, and then with the either the power steering pump I have, or I had this one, I can change it, and that'll give us 2 belts turning the fan, 2 belts on the power steering. This one back here, because I've created this big gap, right? The belt should be able to come up here, miss that shaft on the water pump, up around there, and then back down the other side, and it has its own tightening system. That's my plan. And then it will fit in here, because the alternator will be there. The clutch, I showed people earlier kind of briefly, but when you look, if you stand right there, John, and zoom in, this is the clutch pedal. No, that's the brake pedal. Here's the clutch one. And you see how that's just a little ways off? By putting that extension on there that I've got built, it'll perfectly put me in line, and it'll pull back, so when you push on the clutch this way, it's going to work. In fact, it should be an easier clutch to push because I've got a longer arm on it. So I should end up with power steering, clutch that works. It's all right. Anyways, then when this is done, I'll go ahead and get a carburetor down, set the distributor. We put spark plugs in it the other day, the oil filter, whatever. You saw all that crap. Okay, so I'm going to keep plugging away on this. I'm going to have to drill the other hole right here, which I've sanded the intake manifold slightly to get it to lay flat. I'll put some more grease on there, and then you just push it up against, and I've got just a little bit of an oblong hole to make there. And then I will cut this one, and I will show you how we're going to plate that. And we're going to start building the bracket. Now, as for a reinforcement, let's come over to my scrap. I've collected scrap and pin reels and pieces. I also got some of these. They'll go underneath to give that thing some support. And then this shelf, well, obviously that's not cut straight, but this shelf here, then after I tack where I want, I'll modify, you know, to like shape it and
make it look reasonable.
Make it look reasonable, and then squirt it with Rebuild Black, and bada boom, bada bing, close the hood, rev it to 10,000 RPMs, and the belts will stay on. It'll be great. It'll be wonderful.
And the engine won't?
Yeah, well, that's all right. The weakest link won't be what we built. Anyways, we'll get back to you in a few minutes. We're going to just keep plugging away on this. I thought it would be easier, but if you ever get a 30s car that goes like this, yeah, you're going to have some modifications. This isn't the right way to do it. In fact, put that on pause. Let me show you how many pulleys I have. So, to show you I'm not insane, this, come over to the table. Let's get into too much stuff in my hand. Just to show you I'm not insane. I'm not doing this for fun, John.
That's what I thought you were.
I've got those. I've got the bottoms. I got more bottoms. I've got more tops. I got double pulley tops. I got old offset tops. Oh, I got another bottom. This is crap I had laying around from all the times, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. Keep all your parts. Keep all your parts. That being said, all the parts I've kept, nothing is as good. This one was a close second because it has the double pulley, and those were singles. Come here, I'll show you how this will not work. But maybe we'll use it, John, because look at that. It's got a straighter edge on it, where this has got a curve.
Yeah, but it'll turn your water pump slower.
Well, I'll race the motor more. See, this one would.
I'll just get the engine hotter.
Oh, and if I do that, yeah, it lines up. It's essentially the same as this. The diameter's just the difference.
Yeah.
That's all the difference is there. Yeah, they're the same otherwise. But anyways, what I'm saying is if I screw it up, maybe we'll cut this off and have to cut this off and make that sleeve in there to self-align. I mean, really, a guy needs a lathe where he can part that, and then he can fit it together real nice, and then, but instead, I'll show you how we're going to do it. We're going to do it with a bench vise and another water pump, and we're going to put it on there, and that's going to be our true to life kind of thing. Anyways, let me get going on the bracket first. All right, so we got this part cut out. We haven't messed with the flat part, but I've cut the back off of that. Here it is. And as polishing up, all that grease under there has some stamp numbers. There's a little high right here, so we're just gonna make it disappear. As good as a fly cutter, John. Look how smooth that is. Woo, baby.
Yeah, look how smooth all those bumps are.
Huh? Oh yeah, it's got a little bit of a high spot there. Well, it's probably going to be close enough for welding. We'll have to clean up the edge because that other plate's going to sit on there, and then weld to that, to that, to that, to that. And this is just a dummy one, so I don't mind welding on it. Wind's picking up. We should probably close the shop to keep all the
leaves from going in there.
It's going to suck the weld out here today.
Well.
Huh? Can't hear you.
Yeah.
What?
Huh?
All right, let's just keep working. You just operate with me. Okay, you can't do it. Can't do it. Greatest invention ever known to man. Cannot do it. Why can't you do it? Why can't you just participate with the fun we're having?
Yeah, so much fun.
Yeah, I just want you to be like micro-inching it, stupid piece of Chinese magnet. Oh, I see why. It's because this thing's like shooting for the moon because somebody who cut that didn't cut that with a cut.
Didn't cut it straight?
Do you think that's going to be a problem?
Well, I think the whole engine's at that angle, so
You think the whole engine's at that angle?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It should be with the center line. So I got to do whatever this is doing.
Uh-huh. So you're at the right angle that way.
So I got just a whiz it on the bubble. Let me check again. Oh, these are different size pulleys. Ah! Okay, we'll do it right here. Okay, it's got that much bubble. Yeah, that magnet is not helpful. Good idea, bad application. All right, let's just put a couple of little on it.
And then hammer it straight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got a lot of porosity and also my rubber glove for some reason. Alright. Think it'll stay there?
No.
There's a bubble. No, see, now the bubble's pulled it up. What a hunk of crap.
Again, just hammer it straight. That's your...
Why am I building this stuff anyway? Oh, out of alignment.
But that's because you don't have, you know, background.
That's the end of that one. Okay, I got a tacker there. I got something there. It looks like a weld, but it is not. Why do I show people this on the internet?
Because it's entertaining for them.
Yeah. Well, now how did that get level?
I don't know.
What in the hell is going on?
Wow, you moved it so far.
Was my gasket not level? Okay. No, it's happy there. So that should be in line with the... But it's not. You know why? I'll tell you why, John. Look at this. I'm screwing myself. Because this is flat. And this is at an angle.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would be
okay.
an
So
issue.
don't screw it up, Darian. Let's try something like this. Okay, right on there. You see right on there. I got that little doodad. It even shows it square. I'm just trying to be in line with the crank pulleys. Oh, it didn't move anyway. All right, you know what? It's perfect. Just
We're there.
put a couple of welds on it. Let me put a little couple of braces on it. Yeah, I'll put a couple of these in there. And then, before we get too crazy about putting these in there, let me get the actual part we're putting on there and see if it's even gonna be right.
Yeah.
You guys are seeing it first, coming together. Darian and his homemade.
His homemade problems.
Okay, we're inside here.
That's good.
That's good. Alright, now it's gotta go way back. Ooh. Yeah, buddy. That's gonna go way back.
That's good.
Okay, that's good. If I can get rid of a bunch of this. Yeah, we'll have to figure out a straight edge system. But I'm comfortable enough with that to see what I'm going to do now, John, is when we get that where we want it, we just booger weld this to that.
Yeah.
Check it out, the hose should go past, kinda, maybe, kinda.
Well, didn't you say you were going to flip that backwards?
Oh yeah, I did say something intelligent like that once. We get rid of that ugly old snot, and then we got all kinds of room.
You just flexi hose
And this is going to go over this way. And it looks like it has enough room. Man, I love it when a plan comes together. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, man, you're just helping them so you can't do a guess what that movie is.
Ah, they know what that movie is. Everybody knows what that movie is. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and, I guess, put my helmet on. All right, so Johnny and I have made a mock. This is not our finished product. This is the one that's got these huge bends in it. But we cut it up to see if this would actually be functional before we destroyed our good part. So what we ended up doing was cutting the center out on our turntable right there. And then we actually inverted this around. And basically, I'll take it off for you. But it's hard to tell exactly. We got a little bit of a zigzag in it, but that's okay because we just tacked it. Anyways, backyard machining it. Here, let me show you what I ended up doing. We took the fan off, and that helped keep it all together here. So now we're going to go ahead and commit ourselves to destroy our original part. I guess they're both original. So we took the center out, which is there, and you see that piece of metal, John, was formed over a boss inside here, so it's double thick.
Yep.
But when we cut it, then it came into here, and it's almost right on the edge of that one. So we have some good spots to weld inside here. We got some good spots to weld here, but this cone is going to stay on because you see how thick that is.
Yeah.
And it should be all right, I think, because the mounting's the same. I don't know. I mean, like everything on the car, it could fly apart. So we're now going to destroy our good part to remake this. You see that reinforcer in there?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what. So basically, we're just going to cut
Just
right at the edge of that reinforcer. Turn this pulley around, or that part I should say, put it together, and because this one was so damaged, it wasn't long for the world, but it gave us a concept. So we will set up, destroy another GM pulley, and then we'll show you, I guess, when it's done, how true it is or not true. But then that gives me my pulleys out where I need them. And then we can change that pump because this one's got a bad wheel on it, or we can just change the wheel. Sometimes they go pretty good, sometimes they don't. Then, John, once we have this front done, we will position our bracket, and hopefully that, by this, yeah, let's just check right now. Oh yeah, it gives us plenty of room for a belt to go behind there. Yeah, if you can see that or not. It's gonna work. As hokey as it is, and this is not the way I like to do business, we're making it work. Let's see how we did, Johnny.
Yep.
People aren't interested in this anyways.
Well, yeah, but we're showing them what we did.
So when you get it off, that just automatically doesn't fit through there. You have to now, see there's a little bit, so now I have to sand the top of this, which would be ideal for a lathe, and then it'll fit in like that. You can see how much difference I got to sand down. So because this is a taper, I just keep sanding it down till I get the right diameter, tap it in with a hammer, bada bing, bada boom. You can see on here this edge, I'll sand all that down. So we'll get you back when we're up to the fit up, otherwise it's just breathing grinding dust for the next 20 minutes.
Yay, breathing grinding dust.
Well, we machined it out to get it to go on here. Again, it was just grind and fit, grind and fit. Now we're working it down to about where we need it. Ah!
Right about there. Yeah, that's
You know,
just about.
if a guy was smart, he would put like some kind of a big plate on the back of this, and it would only go down so far. Now I gotta start over.
Well, you pretty much want it falling off, though, don't we?
I mean, I like a press fit, and then it's easier to weld, and we know it'll be true. Now, I don't like hitting it with a hammer either.
Well, I was talking more about, like, you know, it at the where it turns, you know,
I don't mind hitting this water pump because we're not using it.
But you mind hitting the other pump?
But I don't want to hit the one on my car. Alright, that's pretty close. Stop while you're ahead. Now let's check it. I got quite a bit to go.
It's pretty straight, but it ain't close.
Yeah, it's got to come out to the edge there.
Yeah.
I wonder if I should get a piece of metal. No, because then it would hit the edge. See if we bolt something on there as a stopper plate, you know? Alright, how close are we?
Not at all.
Quite a ways to go.
I mean, you've technically got this front one lined up with this one right now.
That's not what I want.
I know.
Alright, we're getting closer, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
How are we doing? Can this even fit in there? You know, if we did it like this. How close are we?
Like a ½ inch off.
A ½ inch. All right, we're within a ½ inch. Oh, I can see it now.
Yeah. It's also currently on an angle of what you
All
hammered.
right. Oh,
Well, yeah.
son of a dog. Maybe I should just put it right there and tack one weld and then try to match everything to that one.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it just barely needs to be on there. Because right now you're lined up.
Yeah, and I'm not even really on there.
Uh-huh.
So you're saying is I should just put it like this?
Pretty much. You're pretty much there with that.
Just put it right like that?
Yeah.
If I had known that, I wouldn't have ground so much to get it to fit on there. I could have just
stuck it on there.
Well, we could put some wires in between. All right, we got a plan. Stand by. I will demonstrate when I'm finished.
All right.
All right, so we've got it tacked, and because I don't have a dial indicator, and it probably won't matter on pulleys, I've been using this pointer. Like if we hold it right there. Now there is some damage to this pulley, but if you watch the edge, can you see it real good, John? All right, let me get it so it gets a little bit of a outward right there. But again, that's been damaged, so it's hard to tell. Then right back in.
We'll go off the middle one then.
Alright, let's check that one. Oh, yeah, that's a lot truer, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I would kept going off of.
Okay. So anyways, we're ready to weld this. So you can come around here, John, and see what we ended up doing. You can see there's a little bit of gap all the way around it. We spaced it out with some zip ties, got it on there. We've been fighting the weather, the wind. This will be a spectacular failure when it flies apart. But until it flies apart, we're back to our original space. We now have the fan that can put on this because that's the original spacer. That's the same distance, just inverted. The pulleys are now offset. I can finish this one, put that on, set the other. I think I'll probably just forget. You guys don't need to see me weld it all. We'll weld it all together. I'll put that. It's over here. Just I've welded this one up. You saw that. Maybe you didn't see it. I don't know. I got this one welded up. It's gonna. I need to do some cleaning with the buffing wheel thing. This will go on. It'll capture 4 holes, and then we're ready to set the other alternator. And then I think we might have to come back and modify some of this because I've angled that out to be all cool, but then potentially I'm not. If you look straight down, potentially it could be an interference with that.
It is.
I don't know if it's even gonna work. I mean, I can come back and put a gusset right here or something, or up in here. I was trying to be all crafty and make it all artsy, and it bit me. So,
Well,
anyways, let me weld. I'll get back to you when I got a finished product here. We are winning, John. Winning.
oh yeah, is this what winning looks like?
This is exactly what winning looks like. Well, you know the story, John.
What?
Grinder and paint for the welder you ain't.
Wow.
And so what we got here is a completed front pulley. Still hot. I welded it over here on the deal. John held up a shield to keep the gases where they needed to be. And when you rotate it kind of fast, yeah, there's a little bit of movement to it. Oh, well, I think it's going to work fine. Okay. Whew. That's huge. I said I had 4 things to do. This was 1, that was 2, underneath a couple of brackets, and then the clutch. That's 4 things. I had 4 fabrication jobs to do. So, when you're going to need some belts, John. But meanwhile, we could use one of these oldie belts. I think this one here will be kind of close enough to put back there to simulate what's going on with that alternator. See, it needs to be somewhere like right about here.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a little bit long, but we can. So let's jump over to the next section. I'll bolt that on, and we'll weld that sucker together, and I'll have 2 of my 3 things accomplished. And then we might call it for the day, come back tomorrow because the weather's supposed to be nicer, and I can lay under the car and do the last 2. So let's get working on the second one. I'm 70% committed to this, but I didn't weld. I tacked on the front here so my alignment's correct, but I'll come back and weld once I have the right belt. And I think we might wait, John, till the engine actually runs.
Till you have the right belt, till you have the right alternator.
To verify, yes, and I have this is just an alternator I had. But if you look down here, you can see that it just...
Yeah, let me get around.
Yeah, there you go. Get to the side where you can see something. You can just see that it's got a little bit of a curve because of this numbers. I might polish those off so I don't wreck the belt. But when it comes around to this side, it's like straight as an arrow. It's like, man, that's a good side. So when we get the proper size belt on there, we got this much adjustment to start out. And it doesn't quite touch. It kind of touches, so, and then if we can tighten it to about there, we should be good to go. You see how it wants to rub on those serial numbers? Kinda. I don't know.
I've never seen them touch yet.
All
They're
right.
close.
So I think that's project 2 done for now. I'm happy with that. We know that this will work on here for the hose, whether it goes on that way or that way, it's irrelevant. I'll order an alternator that's a single wire GM alternator. I'm thinking of putting the battery in here anyways, but now it might mess up my firewall, but it's not that good of a firewall. I don't know. Maybe we'll put it in the trunk. All right, let's get on to the next thing, John. Happy. Let's do clutch next. That's an easy one, and we can have the clutch working, alternator, the pulleys. Oh yeah, I need to change this, but I'll do that tomorrow or something. Just put on the double. Oh, hazards in the neighborhood. I'll just put this sucker on there, and then we're set to go on that. If I screw that up, I have another pump. Whatever. All right, let me get set up for that clutch deal. Man, what a mess I'm making today. This is probably taking us, what, 3 hours, John?
Probably.
Probably, to make this
Work.
Yeah. We just won't open the hood. Nobody will know. They'll be like, it runs good, small block Chevy. Yeah, it's just, you don't want to open the hood. You don't want to, yeah, it's good. You don't want to see any of it now. This part here I built to put onto there with some holes and threaded through. All right. I tried to explain it earlier, but sometimes my brain works faster or my mouth doesn't keep up or something. I don't know. Anyway. And hopefully these bolts are long enough to put a nut on the outside. If not, oh well. Oh, they're not. Okay. I can get longer ones. Oh, I can peen it over.
You could.
And then it will never come off. All right, so this is my arm. This is my rod. I have not drilled a hole
For said rod.
So this rod would go in. Oh, does it fit? No. Okay, scratch that. Apparently Oldsmobile used a tiny hole, and this is a Chevy rod. Oh, buddy, it's almost there. It's too bad somebody didn't drill that out while the engine was out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to do some modification. Anyways, this rod then would be in line. Can you see that, John?
Yeah, I've got a good angle finally.
This would go right here. And now all I got to do is just drill a hole in that. And then, obviously this is too long. Obviously we're not using this anymore. So I'll probably just go get a piece of all thread, truthfully. Because I don't mind having the threading on it, and I can put a jam knot on both sides. And I can adjust that to whatever the pedal length is. So we'll put that on our list. So I'm going to consider that done, because now I know what I need, and I'll probably go buy one of those clevises, you know, that shapes like that, and this is in the center. And then
good idea.
And then the all thread will go in the middle of there, and I'll just have a piece of all thread with some nuts. So now I know that'll work, and then we'll drill a hole in this plate, John, and after it's tight, you know, we'll drill a hole, and then that'll be tight. And then that also, if I needed to, I could put a spring on it. Now the exhaust should come under this, no problem. Let's consider the clutch fixed. The last item, let me go get it. Oh yeah, buddy. So you remember last week's video, I shorted you guys because I was busy. This week I'm just as busy, but I'm still shorting you. So I got these. Right, these are just some cut-offs from an iron worker. They're junk. You bring them over here. Why do we have a maze through our backyard?
We like challenging ourselves.
So right under here, John, if you can see the angle we did last week, these are going to go right there. I'll have to cut the corner, and then it'll be welded, so then that will never flex. So that's the last fabrication item. That would be my 4. But you brought up one more, didn't you? That oil drain plug. Last week we were monkeying around with it, and so there's nothing wrong with these. This is the new gasket. The problem is this has been stripped out. The guy saved a part that was stripped out, but because I have the welding machine out, we got these 1/2 by 20. This was already open at Tractor Supply, but I don't know, I guess somebody doesn't know what 1/2 by 20 is. Anyways, they fit on here, right? So now all I have to do is burn some holes and paint in the bottom of the oil pan.
Yeah, because that's always what you want.
And I'm going to weld that on there, and I'm going to fix it without having to take it off. Hackery? I don't know. Hard to tell anymore. Is it going to leak? Well, even if it leaked, I can just put some silicone around, some silicone. But anyways, I should be able to spot. But obviously without this in there. And then, well, maybe I'll use this other one, because then the button on the end could align it.
Yeah.
You know. So I think we're going to do that. This might be it time-wise. I think I'm just going to, you saw the majors. I'm going to show you the finish. Obviously, you're going to see it over the next ensuing weeks as we progress on this 1936 Oldsmobile. What do we got left? Everything. But on the front end, if I can get all the front dress done, I have a carburetor we're going to use. We can figure out the radiator. We'll set the distributor. We'll get the oil plug. Then we can do the exhaust. Then we can really start working on the doors, the sheet metal inside. This would be like from here back to our project. We still have to do some brakes on it. We still have to weld something on here for the trailing arm, whatever. I just haven't. I think I'm going to go to the junkyard, John, and look at some other cars and see if I can just buy like a subframe to cut apart that's factory instead of trying to manufacture. Neighbor's working in his yard. I love that. Anyway, so I think we'll catch you next week. We'll show you progress when we finish. Thanks for following along. Thanks for liking. Make sure you give me the thumbs up. That's what they call liking, apparently, thumbs up. You can put thumbs down if you think that's appropriate. Comments. If you see a comment from somebody else, get involved. Comment on their comments. That helps my algorithm. Comment yourself. If you like it, if you don't like it, tell me. That's fine. I'm probably not going to change what I'm doing, just like I wouldn't tell you what to do. But anyways, that being said, I like the car. I like the progress. This is the things that people give up on, or they overspend on some Chinese manufacturer. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just doing it here in America. But I'm making it work. It's going to look good. It's going to run good, and it's going to feel good. We'll catch you later.